Back, I'm Gertie Rude. Back again, that Friday mood. Well, here I am, and we're back with Harry has William and the King over a barrel. No, he doesn't. They'll look so petty if they ignore his latest request. Says who? When we're talking petty, we don't have to look much further than Barry Barrington, do we? Should we jump in and see what's happening? Because I've got a lot to say, and I'm sure you guys have as well.
You are speaking about something that is bigger, and they do run the risk of it looking, for want of a better word, a little bit petty if they don't go and support it.
You can't just sweep that under the carpet. There's got to be an apology.
Of course you would be angry, and of course you would be well within your rights to do exactly as they have done.
He's been placed in a dilemma as to how to cope with this. I think we have to wait and see how this moves on.
Well, it's not that much of a dilemma. What you do is you take them out the line of succession and you take away their duchy. It's very, very simple. I mean, it would need to be fairly simple because of who we're dealing with. And the fact that none of that has happened is, it's questionable and open to debate. Yes, I know I've got my opinions, but let's jump on.
He was possibly quietly seething for a long time, and that headspace, as they describe, he's clear now.
See, that's the other thing that I've said as well, that these two use their so-called freedom of speech the whole time to bash this person and that person who, last time we all looked, did actually come under the heading of family. So, which is something that's very de rigueur and one shouldn't really do in public, washing laundry in public, etc. So there's that. And the thing about the royal family is that, yes, they've got a big PR machine, but on the minutiae, they can't really defend themselves. They can't answer back. They can't say what they think. I'm sure he'd love to. I mean, he broke protocol that time when he was asked if they're a racist family, and he said, no, we're very much not a racist family. Do you remember that? I mean, that was sort of, epic. And then you have the recollections may vary quote, which was attributed to the Queen, and obviously, because Catherine is a lady and a princess, whether she was born it or not, there are debatable some people that are called ladies that aren't ladies at all, and there are some people that don't have that moniker in front of their name and are very much ladies. So it was actually Princess Catherine that said, recollections may vary, when she was asked about this whole the bridesmaid dress routine scandal, and she bought some flowers and Meghan threw them in the bin, and then apparently Kate made her cry, but the real story was that she had Kate in tears because she was either pregnant or she just had Louis. So she was kind of a bit vulnerable emotionally, and you can imagine being around that Harridan. So there's that to it. And obviously it was attributed to the Queen, and Princess Catherine said nothing, but it has since come out that it was actually her, that when she was asked about some points, finer points of Meghan's story, her very ladylike response was, well, recollections may vary. So there you go. That is a thing. Look into it. That's actually a thing. But obviously, if the Queen was attributed to it, when the Queen said it, you know what I mean? It's the royal family. So maybe she said it to the Queen, or she was asked questions via the Queen and replied using that phrase. And then the Queen might have repeated that phrase. So it was quoted as a quote from her, but it was actually Princess Royal, not the Princess Royal, Princess of Wales, darlings. Sorry, it's Friday, I'm knackered, and it's sort of blisteringly sweaty and muggy where I am. Well, it is everywhere. It's summer, for God's sake, grow up. Anyway, let's go. Right, yes, we've done this. Come on, let's get on. Hurry up.
Welcome to Royal Exclusive.
Yes.
Meghan Markle may have enjoyed a moan in the past, but now she's brought out a wine. Prince William is said to have moved on.
Oh, moan and a wine, play on words, brilliant. That never stops bleeding whining, does it? So, it isn't her wine. She just nicked it from someone else and charges 3 times the amount. Or was that the tea? Because she's got some fancy tea, and she apparently, and it turned out it was just normal tea, but she charges 3 times the amount and sticks it in that fancy bleeding convoluting packaging that she's invented. That woman's a bleeding nuisance. Right, let's go.
From Harry's insult-laden exit, so should we.
Right.
And with the Princess of Wales pulling out of Royal Ascot as she balances her return, should more royals be asked to step up into the limelight?
Why?
In the studio with me today is news.com.au royal reporter.
It's debatable as to whether we need any of them, really. Although we all love the Waleses, don't we? Which is quite rare. I can't remember the last time that the Royals, Waleses were so, the going back in history, because there's always been like Prince and Princess of Wales, were as popular and as fabulous as these two. I think we've had some popular, like Edward VIII when he was Prince of Wales. He was very popular. With the media that we had in those days had sort of highlighted several utterances that he'd made towards sorting out poverty for poor people, and that really annoyed the courtiers, you can imagine, because they sort of don't go down to that level worrying about poor people. Well, they didn't in them days. And was Mary and George V, when he was Prince of Wales, under Edward VII, and Queen, what was her bleeding name? I forgot what her name was now. His wife, anyway. Oh, God. My brain! It's gone. It's Queen Mary. Oh, Alexandra. Yeah, so Edward VII and his wife, the Queen Alexandra, when they as popular? They were seen as quite starchy, whereas Alexandra and Edward VII, well, he was known as Edward the Caresser, wasn't he? He was quite spicy, and had always been spicy, even by Victorian standards. But the grandson, George, who went on to be George V, was kind of more like his grandparents. He was very staid and sort of stoic and, buttoned up, one of them. So I don't know the last one that was as popular as William and Kate. I can't think. Let me know in the comments if you can, because I can't think. Was it Frederick under George II? But he died, didn't he? Fred is dead. There was a little ditty made about him, wasn't he? I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it's something like that. Fred is dead, and that's all that can be said. Something like that. I can't really think. Going backwards even more. Was Charles I, under James I of England, was he a popular Prince of Wales? We do not know, because he took over from his brother who drowned in the Thames, who was the original Prince of Wales. Can't remember what his name was. Wasn't Charles. Was it James? Can't remember. Anyway, yeah, he drowned in the Thames, so the second son became Charles I. And Charles II, when he was Prince of Wales, was popular, but again, I'm talking about the couple that were the Waleses together, so wife and husband, equally as popular. And because, like, when it was Diana and Charles, Diana was hugely popular, but her popularity sort of underlined his fuddy-duddiness, really, didn't it? Bless him. It did. There was such a big age gap, and I mean, they were different as chalk and cheese, them two. I think the only qualification or certificate she ever got was for caring for a guinea pig. So, yeah, she always said that brains weren't her thing. So there's that, but she was hugely popular for her charisma, her charm, her hands-on care, and her seeming ability to get on with everybody. And she didn't seem to have any sides, and of course she was hugely glamorous, wasn't she, in her day? Although by our standards, when you look at photographs of her now, even though she was still gorgeous, they're kind of dated up against Kate. Am I allowed to say that? But she was magnificent, wasn't she? She was beautiful, Diana. I love Diana. Oh, it did upset me, all that. Anyway, we'll move on. Don't go there, girl.
Bronte Coy and former Buckingham Palace spokesman Dickie Arbiter. I think this is a little bit incendiary, and I'm looking forward to getting your thoughts on this. No, what I'm about to say, but what's happened is we're hearing that Prince Harry has invited the King and Prince William to go to the Invictus Games. It's 2027, so we're 2 years away.
Why would they?
That puts everyone in a little bit of a dilemma.
Charles might not even be here then.
If he invites them to the games in Birmingham, normally at these games the head of state or the defence secretary will go to Harry's games.
Right.
What do you think the King and William will be thinking about?
Well, has he actually invited them?
I can't see him going,
just said he would like them to come?
Because even if it's 2 years ahead, that's 2 years, 365 days, that's over 700 and something days that the market has got to plan the minutiae of every nanosecond of her appearance at the UK Bleeding Games. What's it called? He's just said it. Invictus. God, my brain's sponge. Yes, so, and she'll make it about her, won't she? If Charles is making a speech, she'll be there holding the microphone, won't she? She will, we know she will. Anyway, let's go.
And there are those who say, well, William and the King can always come up with diary engagements. And those cynics
I would.
say, well, it is 2 years
straight away.
Adjust your diary.
Yeah, adjust your bleeding diary. I'd be like fully booked up for the next decade, mate, if they started on me. No, I bloody well can't. Go away.
Happen between now and then.
You're rotten bleeding.
You can't just brush everything under the carpet.
Can.
The Oprah interview, the 6 hours of Netflix slagging off the royal family.
I know.
The book Spare.
Oh my God.
You can't just sweep it under the carpet. There's got to be an apology. Yes, the King is...
It's an apology, that rolls off your tongue. It's actions that speak louder than words. It's easy to say, oh, I'm sorry. I mean, how many abusers say, oh, I'm sorry? And don't mean it and go and do the same thing again. Which I think, it's my opinion, would probably, they'd come under that heading. But, if you do wrong, you put your hands up, you admit it. An apology sort of walks and talks, doesn't it, rather than speaks. But there you go. Oh, talks and speaks, go, you bleeding batty old bag. Oh, my brain is gone. But you know what I mean. It's easy to say, oh, I'm sorry, and then just carry on doing it again. No, it takes a whole introspection of oneself and a genuine willingness to change and to alter the situation and maybe to put it right as best you can, which pretty much is pretty difficult. I would imagine the whole family are like, even we would think, yeah, okay, maybe the whole of England and the world would kind of get Harry and forgive him or whatever. I mean, he'd always have it thrown back at him. But all the time he's with her, it would never happen. It just would never happen. Because the minute Charles or William are even tangentially connected somehow to Harry, that automatically, subconsciously connects them to her. And I don't think any of us are going to have that, darling. No, can you see Catherine going there? Because you remember the funeral thing? Now, that funeral, you remember when the Queen died, great late, Queen Elizabeth. And those two melts were going to go out and walk about Windsor and shake hands. As William and Kate heard about it and said, no, we'll all go out together. So, and they were quite, whatever the word is to her, much more than what I would have been. But there you go. Oh dear, it's a tangled web. Anyway, let's go.
Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Services, and it would be a good fit and a good show for him to appear.
Right.
But it's a very difficult one. He's being placed in a dilemma as to how to cope with this. I think we have to wait and see how
take
this
out the line of
moves on
succession and
as to
remove his
whether there
duchy.
is an
It's very
apology.
simple.
Life can change in 2 years. A day in politics is a long time.
Yeah.
2 years in the royal family is even longer.
Yeah.
So let's just see what happens on that front.
May I ask you,
considering the lunatics we got running the world at the moment, 2 years is like it's a whole era away, isn't it? Really. Anyway, let's go.
Parts of the story. This was in the Mail on Sunday, I think, the other day. One of the parts of the story was that emphasis on getting in early with the invitation because the royal diary can fill up years in advance.
Right.
How true is that in this scenario where let's say that the invitations have been sent
I'm not
out?
even being funny. Can you imagine that would be like a bleeding, when you get the death sentence, and they put you on death row, but you know what's going to happen ultimately. It's just when it's going to happen. Can you imagine being Charles and William 2 years in advance? It's almost better and less painful if you just happen to bump into them, isn't it? Oh, I just happened to bump into Harry, rather than thinking every day and striking it off on the calendar. 700 and something days before I have to bloody stand on the stage with him. Yeah, it's 699 days before I have to stand on the stage with him. 698 days. You know what I mean? It's that whole ripping the plaster off effect, isn't it? You either do it very quickly, or you do it tortuously slow, darling. Oh, if it was me, I'd just say, bin it, I'm not doing that, forget it. No, well, I'll be washing my hair that day.
Is it possible that they would already be booked for, I think it's July 2027?
Yes, fully booked up, till 2030.
The King, for example, would he be booked already, do you think?
Yes.
Firstly, I doubt the invitations have already gone out. I think Harry has sort of indicated and sort of flagged up that he would like his dad and his brother there. He's got to clear a lot of bad air to get them there because William really doesn't want to have anything to do with it.
No, don't blame him.
A parent is slightly different. He loves his son, but he's very hurt by what his son has done.
Listen, don't give me that. Yeah, it's easy to love somebody, but whether you like them, it's a whole different ballgame. And sometimes when they've behaved this reprehensibly and kept your grandchildren away, I would say, and behaved as badly, he probably does in his quieter moments think, oh, he probably, thinks of him as a little boy and remembers how cute he was, but he's not that little boy anymore. He's literally Lord Haw-Haw, isn't he? He is. And she's worse than Jane Anderson. Do you remember her? She was the female version of Lord Haw-Haw. Yes, I have a relative that was very instrumental in her not being bloody hung after the war. So, he was, but she got away with it. Not my relative, I mean Lord Haw-Haw. He was done away with, darlings. But Jane Anderson, they wanted to do that too. And my particular relative made sure it didn't happen. Because, I don't know why I would have done. It was something about women were like treasures, weren't they, in them days? There was gentlemen and ladies, wasn't there? And that thing weren't no lady, that Jane Anderson. Anyway, let's go.
And there doesn't seem to be any move of reproach on. He
right.
said, he wants to see his father. He made that silly comment a few weeks ago that he doesn't know how long his father has got.
Oh.
I mean, you don't say things like that in public.
Well, yeah, you don't say things like that in public, especially when your dad's the king, and also then say it and go, oh yeah, but in 2 years' time, can you come and do this for me? Can you do me a favour? Because that's essentially what he's asking. He's asking for a favour. Because it's going to happen in Britain, he wants the top brass there. And as they've said, they could just send the ministry of something or other, couldn't they, really? But he's sort of pulled strings, familial strings. Yes, I'd like one of you there, of both of you, really. So, I hear Kate hasn't been mentioned, though. Hey, do you notice that? Here, say nothing. Right.
There's a lot of ground to make up. And the ground is, with a capital A, apology. And you've got to mean
apology
it.
Means BS.
But at the moment, his father won't see him because his father sees him. That anything he says will be all over the airways, all over the internet in a nanosecond. And at the moment, he can't trust him.
No. But you were famously sorting out these kind of issues when you were working for Her Majesty.
Yeah, I know, darling. I know what you're going to say, but I don't. But anyway, whatever. The thing is, even if he did divorce that old thing, or she left him, or whatever, him being the man that he is, you can't... I mean, every time he steps out with a girl, I'm sure the whole family would, like... You know what I mean, again? Because he's not the best judge of character, is he? He's not. He really isn't. He definitely doesn't think with his brain, does he, darlings? We know. I don't think he thinks at all. I think the only part of his body he uses is the same part that she uses. Well, in her case, it's her mouth, and in his case, it's not his mouth. Anyway, let's move on.
Like that.
But you had to negotiate what would look good, what would look bad, how to kind of present things. This would cause a massive headache to you if you were in your position.
It would cause a massissive headache because you just don't roll over having been rubbished for such a long time over a wide platform.
Right.
Netflix has got millions of listeners.
Oh, yeah.
Harry Spare book.
Oh, that bloody Spare. Don't even go there with the Spare. And then it accidentally got leaked. Oh, in the smallest country where they had the smallest amount of publishers. Was it Denmark? They only had several thousand copies being made. And accidentally, oops, daisy. I don't know how that happened, but accidentally put the names Charles, Princess Kate in. It wasn't in the others, just in that one. So they were probably told legally they couldn't put those names in. But accidentally they got put in, and like several thousand copies were published in I'm sure it was Denmark. Tell me in the comments if I'm wrong. I think it was Denmark. But it's really odd that because they're money hungry little hoe bags, aren't they? So they thought they probably looked, because Spain, they all had it put in their language, didn't they? Like Italy, Spain, Denmark, Poland, blah 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 blah. Obviously they would, because as I say, money hungry little hoe bags. So they probably looked at the numbers they were having published in each country. So if you think the size of France and the size of Spain, they're probably like, oh no, we won't do it in those countries because we're going to lose too. Do you know what I mean? Which is the smallest country of the smallest amount that we're having published. Because obviously Denmark, they've got their own royal family and probably like a couple of thousand, or was it 8,000? I can't remember. Books is going to be more than enough. More than enough to litter up the charity shops in Denmark. Anyway, and they probably thought that's the one. Or is it me? Am I thinking too laterally? That's the country. Yeah, because they know it was going to sell out in Britain. It was going to sell out in most, English-speaking countries. The other countries like Sweden are quite big. They've got their royal family. Spain's got a royal family, massive. France is a republic, but it's a huge, great country. You can fit Britain into France. Like, I don't know how many times. I mean, I've been there. It just goes on forever. It never stops. Germany, likewise. Yes. Holland. Was it the Netherlands? They've got their own royal family. So Finland got their own royal family. Maybe Finland. But I'm sure it was Denmark. I'm sure it's Denmark and Norway. They've got a royal family, you know. Maybe they weren't thingy-bob there. But it's weird the way that they pick the country with the least amount of contracted editions that are being published and put on sale. Or is it just me? Yeah, it's just me, isn't it? Oh God, he's here still. Go on, go away.
Oprah has 1 million viewers. To rubbish the royal family to that extent, and then expect everybody to roll over and say, oh, kiss and make up, all is forgiven. There's an equation to this.
I'm putting the Queen through hell in her last years on the planet. And Philip even, skirt over Philip. But, I mean, the Queen, she was sentient and knew what was going on. And unlike Philip, when they kept it away from him, because he was so delicate at that time, these people have been magnificent in their days. I'm sure in her day, if they'd have took her down the beach and put her by the bleeding sea, she could have stopped the tide coming in. Canute. I didn't say a rude word, I said Canute. He couldn't, but I reckon Queen Elizabeth the Great, if she'd have said to the tide, stop coming in, it would have bloody stopped. It would have ceased it and desisted it immediately. Yes, with immediate action, whatever. Effect, that's the word. With immediate effect. Do not come in anymore, dear tide. It wouldn't have dared, would it? It wouldn't have dared.
And the other half of the equation is Mrs. Wales, Mrs. Sussex.
I think this is such a difficult one. I've given this one a lot of thought since the story came out, and also since...
Listen, I live in Sussex. We ain't seen hide nor hair of them pair of bleeding grifters, as I've said a number of times. Sussex, my fat arse. Anyway, let's go.
We found out that it was going to be in Birmingham. I think there is a lot of sympathy and understanding and respect for the King's position and William's, because I think anyone can relate to the fact that if you've been spoken about, particularly publicly, and had your person...
And I think as well that they've done enough damage of making the royal family look trailer trash, because even I've had my moments, and that's like me, I think we might have all probably in our quieter moments had those moments where you think, oh my God, that family, for God's sake, and they've got enough on their plate, being the Prince and Princess of Wales and also imminently the next King and Queen, to not have this rock in their boat, to not have this incessant, entitled neediness to be recognised. And oh my God, look at them, they want attention. Again. They're doing or saying something to get attention, to grab the moral high ground. And if you don't do what they say, oh, look at us, we're victims. We invited them and they won't come. It's that BS, isn't it? Just leave them alone. Leave them all alone. Get on with your bleeding Invictus, whatever it's called, because you're getting on my bleeding wick talking about it all the time. Get her walking around with her bleeding old legs out all the time with her knickers on, like she does, marching around. Just get the Ministry of Defence bloke, whoever he is. I don't know who he is. Somebody like that. Or like Andrew. Do you know what I mean? Or how about that Edward? Eh? How about getting someone like that? You don't need to keep putting his immediate... Mind you, I bet Edward's like... I think I'll be at the Barber's that day. When is it? June 27. Oh, yes. I definitely am busy that day. I think we're all going to be busy that bloody day, aren't we? Don't be coming to my door and asking me to get involved, because I'll be saying no. Because I already know I'm getting my ears permed. There you go. It's in my diary. 27. All year. Right.
Issues with family members aired in that way, of course you would be angry, and of course you would be well within your rights to do exactly as they have done, which is basically shut it down and cut him off, because there's no trust. With that said, it's a tricky one, because this is beyond Harry. Of course it's his event, but it's in the UK, and you're talking about the military community, of which the royals are very, very...
Can I just beg to differ? You know, as you beg to differ, right? He's the figurehead of the event. To blow smoke up his arse, they used to let him think he'd invented it and tell everybody he'd invented it, but he hadn't. One of the courtiers, or two of the courtiers, got their heads together after knowing about the Warrior Games, visiting the Warrior Games, hearing about the Warrior Games, or being in the Warrior Games, whatever, knew about it and thought, oh, well, we'll do that. And then you've got that poem, haven't you? Was it William Blake? Somebody like that, can't think. I do know, I put it in the thing. Who did the Master of My Own Shit, the thing of my own destiny bullshit, right? And it was called Invictus, that poem. So, and of course when you read the poem, it's all about overcoming struggles, you see, and living your best life despite any foibles or setbacks. Something like that anyway. I mean, don't quote me on it, it's something along those lines. So they called it Invictus, you see. I mean, he couldn't think of a word like that. He probably couldn't even spell it, to be honest, could he? You know? So, I mean, we all know that Spare wasn't written by him. He just spoke into a dictaphone and somebody else poshed it up for him. I put some fancy bit, I can't think who it was. Somebody or other did it. It wasn't him. I mean, you know, I just, like, 8-year-old could write a book. Anyway, let's go.
And it is bigger than Harry, so you do run the risk. And I say this again with great respect for the family issues, because I understand their position.
Yes.
You are speaking about something that is bigger, and they do run the risk of it looking, for want of a better word, a little bit petty if they don't go and support it, given their position in supporting the military community, and particularly an event like this, which is a very good event that is held. It is a wonderful thing that is.
Yeah, but it's about the veterans. And every year, they make it about the Marklet. I must even give Harry that. He doesn't. He comes and he's the figurehead. But as soon as that whole thing toes up, oh dear, there's only 3 wheels on me wagon, and here I am, I've got a microphone. Oh, poor me, poor me, poor me. Why are all these people sat in chairs? It was very derogatory. Anyway, here I am, and it's all about me, me, me. You know? That is what's taken over the Invictus Games. And it's nothing to do with her whatsoever. Very little to do with Harry, apart from to be the figurehead, to be charming, erudite, to facilitate it by his largesse. And everyone forgets, nobody watches the actual games, do they? Do you? Do I? No, don't even know. Don't even know any of the events in it. We never get any shots of that. All we get is her. In her knickers, usually. Or looking like a complete bleeding clown, to be honest. Clawing and grasping at him and grabbing the microphone and talking about giving her kids milkshakes and then going to Germany. I mean, the two things don't compute. I just took her through the In-N-Out burger and give him some milkshake, and then I hear thinking like she's just gone from Monty Shit Show down the road when she's actually gone from Monty Shit Show to completely another continent. I'm here, I did it for you, look at me, I'm here, I did it for you little people, I'm here for you, give me the microphone, I'm going to give you a speech that no one wants to hear. The veterans are all very kind of polite and kind to him in a way that, well, I know I wouldn't, to be honest, I wouldn't even go. But it's not fair. If anything, it should be the veterans that are running it, the veterans that are in charge of it, and a disabled veteran that's the figurehead of it. Quite why Barry Barrington is grasping, well, I suppose because he's lost Centre Barley and he's lost the African parks, hasn't he? We didn't lose them. They're still there. If you look on the map, they haven't been extinguished, whatever the word is. No, not yet, anyway. Not yet. But, so it's his last hurrah, huzzah. Yeah, no, it's his last huzzah, isn't it? It's all he's got. He's that, and Mr. Marklet. I don't mean, Tom and that. I don't mean them. It's him, isn't he? It's Barry and Meghan Marklet.
that he's put on and means so much to that community. So I think it is particularly complicated, but I think that's something that is going to be discussed.
If I had a disabled veteran, say it was my son, brother, husband, whatever, I mean, if you sit in your quieter moments and think how you'd feel, because I know how I'd feel, I'd be like, why is that camera always on her? They're over here, they got bloated up in the country, it's bloody, blah, they're still living their best life, trying to win a gold medal or do this or do that. I don't know what they do. They do play basketball or something, don't they? Basically sports, but in wheelchairs. We'd never see any of that. Why don't they show it? Because you do get the disabled Olympics, don't you, after the normal Olympics? Well, not normal, you know what I mean, usual Olympics, and then they do the disabled Olympics afterwards. And they do show that. Do they show the Invictus Games? Probably they do, but like 0 people watch it because it's so badly tainted, in my opinion only.
A lot in the palace.
You're absolutely right. There's got to be a lot of give and take on this one, and
it would be a take.
If there was no representation from the king, because he is commander-in-chief, and these ex-servicemen,
yes,
they signed up the Queen shilling.
Yes, well, they didn't.
Today it's the King shilling.
No. The King's shilling was when they were press ganged or they were, conscripted. Okay, all these people are volunteers. Okay, let's get over that one. King shilling my fat ass. Don't even know what he's on about.
To serve. So it would be a very difficult one. They're faced with a dilemma, and somebody's got to come out with a resolution. Somehow it's got to work that...
I've got the resolution. You know somebody, you know Dickie, darling, who say somebody. It's me, it's Gertius Rudius. I've got the perfect plot. There is a plot afoot, to be fair, there is. And I've envisaged it, and I'm going to bring it into birth. I'm going to birth it. In fact, I'll do it now. Right, what one needs to do with these people, you see, take away the duchy, because they did say, we don't want to be known as royals. Just call me Harry, is what he said. I remember the press conference he gave, before he silently and quietly went away to have his private bloody life. Can you give me a timestamp of when that's going to start, please, so I put it in my diary? Anyway, that is what they said. So they're just normal, simple people, aren't they, really? And I think they should be facilitated in that role. That's what I believe. And also, when you go around the country and you've got duchies, you see, so you've got the Duchy of Cornwall, you've got the Duchy of Devonshire, haven't you, darlings? You've got Duchy of Wessex, you've got Duchy of Edinburgh. They're all involved. All involved. But you go around Sussex and ask anybody. I think they came here once in 2018 after the royal wedding for about half an hour in a helicopter. Some godforsaken place. Don't know where it was. I think it was Worthing or somewhere. They're all a bit mental. They're all a bit mental. So, yeah, they turned up in about half an hour. We've never seen hide nor hair of them since. They don't grace us with their largesse. They don't sponsor anything. They don't put their name to anything. They don't appear anywhere. They don't cut any ribbons. They don't open any hospitals or do anything worthwhile. They just sit there creaming off the revenue from the duchy. How dare they? You know? It's like getting paid to go to work and you don't even go to work. Oh, it's like working from home, isn't it, really? One of them. Right,
there is a presence of the king. I don't think there needs to be a presence of William, but certainly of the king.
No, there doesn't. Leave him alone.
Their commander-in-chief, because they're still military-minded.
Yes.
And it would be right for him to be there. How it's done
he's a pompous oaf, isn't he?
It is 2 years away.
Leave the king alone.
What can happen in 2 years?
And we thought that it had all died down because it did appear that Harry and Meghan, but particularly Harry in this instance, wasn't going to talk any more about the family.
That's
and then
not
we obviously had that very unexpected...
Listen, at the end of the day, if he wasn't a royal, that's all he dines out on. You know, like people have that old familiar tale that they dine out on continually and write autobiographies about. And they're continually, this is my, claim to fame, I've done this and I've done that, and with him it's I'm a boil. At the end of the day, no one cares. You went away to have a private life. Can you just do that now and leave everybody alone? Anyway, I've had enough. Have you had enough? Let's have another minute.
BBC interview. So as you say, that's a crucial point. If there's any more of that over the next 2 years,
no one wants to know.
2 years is a long time.
Yeah.
It is much harder for there to be any more push forward, but maybe if nothing else happens...
As I say, if they had that in their diary, it would be like bleeding death row, wouldn't it? It would. I would definitely be planning to have a migraine in June 2027, all month. Every day, all month. Definitely, if it was me. They can't make them. I mean, if they say no, they don't want to go, please say no, you don't want to go, because none of us want that. Just let her get on with it. Let them both get on with it, bleeding annoying oiks, aren't they? Crass. They're Aravis, darlings. They're Aravis. Anyway, I'm off. I love you and leave you. Bye-bye. Here, have a great weekend wherever you are in the world. Have a fabulous weekend. Do all the things that make you the fabulous people that I know you are individually. Bye-bye now.